April was a hell of a month for a number of reasons, so it's getting its own video. Hello there, welcome back to the channel. I am Grand Moff Tony, and I promised that the plan was to have Fine Editions videos going over 2 months. But like I said in the intro, April was just a hell of a month for a number of reasons, so it's getting its own one. It's time to talk about some Fine Editions.
Fine addition to my collection.
Got a really diverse mix of new figures this month. I got some new stuff, I got some old stuff, and I've got some stuff that I have been absolutely dying for. So let's not waste any time, let's get right into it. Up first, on a random trip to Walmart, I found out that my local store had the brand new Darkside shipper with a whole bunch of new figures on it, including the Tusken Chieftain from the Book of Boba Fett. Now, I had to grab this figure as soon as I saw it. I love Tuskens. Like, as much as I don't really have a ton of, army building going on in my collection, I really like Tusken Raiders. So getting the Tusken Chief just made sense to me. Hey, all I need now is a Tusken Warrior. Hint, hint. And honestly, this guy is great. I was just expecting a more or less straight reuse of the Tusken Raider body with maybe a new head and some new overlays, but there's an entirely new chest piece on here. The accessory that comes with him is absolutely fantastic. That really cool looking gaffy staff. Absolutely love it. And he just looks regal as hell. I love the darker color on the robes. The paint on the actual figure itself is fantastic, and all of the necklaces and talismans and emblems, they all look great, and they build a really diverse and really interesting figure, which is going to look great at the heart of a Tusken Raider tribe display. I have nothing but good things to say about this figure. I could have maybe done with one of those little black melons in the box with him, just to give him something cool to hold while he stands in the background and judges Boba Fett. This is a fantastic addition. Up next, on the same day out, I stopped into Target, and while there was nothing in the main toy section, I poked my head around the corner and saw a figure marked all the way down to $8, so I couldn't say no. This is the Holocom Bo-Katan Kryze. Now, I've kind of said my piece on the Holocom figures. I do like them, and I love how they look, and even the execution with the light puck is really cool. I just wish they hadn't backed themselves into a corner on the character choice with this kind of bounty hunter wanted poster idea, like these little wanted pucks for these characters. I much would have preferred the idea if they just came with like a little holographic stand and just looked like a terminal, but obviously Lance Luke to the rescue. He's got these great 3D printed designs for hologram tables, which are going to take these figures to the next level, and honestly, the only reason I picked up this Bo-Katan is because of those 3D print files. I wasn't buying into the bounty puck thing at all, but if I can make it look like a hologram standing on a table, I'm all over it, man. The actual figure itself is obviously just a straight reuse of Bo-Katan, and it's a great figure, but I have to admit I do kind of like the fact that you can see inside the figure. You can see all the joints and the little things that make the articulation work. It just kind of, I don't know, it tickles an appreciation in me that I really like, and I used to have a PlayStation controller that looks just like it, so I was really happy with this. The holographic Bo-Katan, while it was a figure I never planned on picking up, it was a great addition to the collection this month. Up next is a figure that I actively asked for on the very first ever episode of my wishlist series. It is Phantom Menace Anakin. This guy looks great. Like, it's just, the likeness to Jake Lloyd is incredible, and it's exactly what I wanted. I had an image in my head back when I was talking about wanting Kid Anakin back on that wishlist video, and this is the image. Like, this is the exact image. I got the Anakin, I got the backpack. Do I miss the idea of the pod racer helmet? Yeah, kinda. I wish he had come with, I don't know, a little something more to kind of sweeten the pot. We talked about it on the Lazy Sunday livestream a couple of weeks ago with the Basement Boys. The idea that the kid figures have always kind of come with more in the box. Like, Season 1 Omega really springs to mind with a lot of cool stuff that makes you really pleased you picked it up. The Anakin figure was kind of lacking in that regard. Like, it's got the backpack, and I'm glad it's got the backpack. That's the one scene that I really want to capture with this figure, but it could have done with something else. It could have done with the pod racing helmet, maybe a grease gun, something to really justify that mainline price point. With that said though, I did pick this up in a GameStop and I used my $5 off per month, so really wasn't retail, so that's alright. Could have done with some more accessories, could have done with a bit more paint on him to make it look a little messier, a little dirtier, but on the whole, a great figure, and I'm so pleased to be ticking an item off of one of my wish lists. Kid Anakin is fantastic. A little later on in the month, we popped down to a Pop Funko Pokemon and Toy Show down in Royal Oak, Michigan, and I had an absolute blast. There was nothing for me in the main room. It was mostly Pop Funkos and collectibles and baseball cards, and they're still doing the rounds. But in the adjoining room, I found a table covered in classic Red Line Black Series figures. I'm talking figures I have not seen in years. They had the Last Jedi 2-pack with Akbar and a First Order officer. They had a variant of Kylo Ren that I've never seen before, with his helmet off and his hood up. What is that? It also happened to have the Red Line General Hux that very nearly scared me away from the line and has become a regular running joke here on the channel. But aside from the stuff that they had, more important than that was the stuff that I actually picked up, because I got some great stuff here for an absolute steal. The first pickup from that table was the centerpiece Darth Vader. Now, I used to walk away from this figure all the time back when he was in Barnes & Noble, and I always regretted it because it really captures the power of Darth Vader in that Rogue One scene. It just looks incredible. So the chance to get this figure again, well, it's not really a figure, it's more of a statue on a really cool diorama base, and I absolutely love it. I think it is great. Having that chance to pick him up again, I could not be happier. Obviously, there's not much to talk about in terms of the figure because it is just a statue. It is locked in a single pose. It's got some really good hard plastic flowing robes that kind of make you wish you could get a similar look out of the other Darth Vader figures in the line. You know, proper cape billowing behind him, hand up to block a blaster bolt. It just looks great. They did also have the Luke Skywalker centerpiece where he's on Hoth and he's coming up over the AT-AT foot. Didn't pick that one up. I left that one there because the Vader was the one that I really wanted. The next addition was Rey's speeder from The Force Awakens. They had vehicles all over this desk. I was so pleased. It reminded me of the good old days. And this again is another figure that I used to walk away from at a little discount toy store down in Great Lakes Crossing. You know, they brought the price down and down and down and down. It was never quite down enough for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna pull the trigger on that. And I ended up scoring it for $20, which is pretty good for me. This is a great vehicle. There are so many hidden compartments. I didn't know that the face mask actually comes off so you can see the lower half of her face, and I think it just looks so much better like that. I've got her hanging off the side with her staff out, and it's just a great figure. I absolutely love it. I miss Black Series vehicles so much, and this was one of the ones where I was like, I really want that one. There are so many intricate mechanical details. I stare at this figure and I just gush over it, and to be honest, I'm kind of digging the soft goods on the Rey figure herself. It just looks kind of cool, and it, you know, gets them out of the way so you can get her in a good seating position for the speeder. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's something that maybe the other Rey figures could have done with. I cannot believe I'm sitting here gushing over soft goods. But yeah, Rey's speeder was a fantastic addition to the collection. And my final pickup from that day was Luke's land speeder. I got my very own land speeder Luke in my collection. Now, unlike the other two from this day, this is one of those figures that I've just never seen. I've just never seen it anywhere. I've always heard about it, and I've seen it in other people's collection tours, and I've always wanted it, and now I have it. It is fantastic. I'm sorely tempted to swap out the Luke for the later one that they released. I feel like the face on the new one is just a little bit better than the old Red Line one. But there's some great stuff in this set. The cycler rifle, which has a spot to sit on the side of the vehicle. I love the poncho. I couldn't quite get the poncho to work, so I just kind of stuffed it in the back of the land speeder. Love the little farmer hat. The little farmer hat just makes me so happy. This is a fantastic figure. Even if it was partly incomplete, it was missing the lightsaber, but you know what? I've got about a dozen of the Skywalker saber in my collection, so I'm not really hurting for another edition of that lightsaber. I'm just so pleased to finally add these great vehicles to my collection, because I'm the guy that sits here all the time and is like, hey, we need more vehicles. Well, now I've got my skin in the game. I've got vehicles, I've bought them. Now reward me by releasing more. The final two additions to the collection this month are kind of a cheat. I'm counting them because I ordered them in the month of April. They technically arrived on May 1st, but I just had to talk about this because this was something I never saw coming. You guys know I have been on the hunt for the Season 2 Bad Batch figures. I let them go, I walked away, I decided I wanted them, I was able to find Omega, Wrecker, and Tech, but I never found Hunter and Echo. Well, thanks in absolutely no small part to the Out of the Basement Discord, I have finally gotten to add these two figures to my collection. And I really do want to shout a few people out here because it would not have been possible without these guys. Massive shout out to Shadow Dragon for pointing out that they had the Bad Batch Season 2 figures on Big Bad Toy Store last month. Massive shout out to Jacko3770 for pointing out that they were on severely discounted prices. Hunter was only 21 and Echo was 18. I could not believe it. And the biggest shout out of all goes to 332nd Collectibles for actually tagging me in the Discord to alert me to what was going on. That notification is 100% responsible for me finally adding these figures to my collection. Not so subtle plug here, join the Out of the Basement Discord, it is fantastic. With all that out of the way, let's get into the figures themselves. Coming up first, we had Bad Batch Season 2, Hunter. What a great update to an already great figure. I love all the extra colour, I love all the extra little layers on him. The bandana looks great. I kind of wish the bandana was stuck down. I might put a little dab of glue on that just to keep that in place. But my god, this figure is great. It is a marked improvement over an already fantastic Hunter figure. And of course, Bad Batch Season 2, Echo, a fantastic addition to the collection indeed. I actually got a little worried as I was opening the box on these guys because these are the old plastic-free packaging boxes, which I do really miss and I wish they would come back, but that's enough of that. And as I'm unpacking his accessories, I'm like, I really hope the helmet's on the figure because I don't see the helmet here. But sure enough, I unwrapped him from that brilliant little wax paper cocoon and there's the helmet plopped right on top. These guys look great, and the fact that they arrived in the mail the day of the Bad Batch season finale, it was just meant to be. Like, they were supposed to be arriving on Thursday. They were supposed to arrive the day after the finale. But I checked my phone on a whim in the morning while I was at work. Turns out I left for work at like 8:30 in the morning, and they arrived at 8:48 and sat in my mailbox all day long waiting for me. This really does feel like the end of an era on the channel. I don't think I've had this much fun looking for specific figures since I was looking for the Cantina band back in the day. Like, this was a fantastic hunt. And you know what? Yeah, I didn't find them in stores, I didn't find them on shelves, but I feel like I found them in the best possible way. I found them with a little help from the Black Series community. That is just magnificent. So there you have it. Those were all of the fine additions to my collection from the month of April. So let me pass this subject off to you. What were some additions to the collection that you got this month? Let me know down in the comments down below and I'll get back to each and every one of you. Next week we'll be talking all about the third season of The Bad Batch. We're planning another cool little extended podcast episode where we can really go in and talk about all the nitty-gritty stuff that happened. Our hopes, our fears, everything that came true and everything that didn't happen, whether we were pleased about it or not pleased. So keep an eye out for that one. And if you'll excuse me, I'm now going to run into the other room and try and jump into the queue to get my Star Wars Celebration tickets ordered, because we are planning on going and this is our chance to grab our tickets. So, in the meantime, however, I've been Grand Moff Tony. Those were the fine additions to my collection from the month of April. You may subscribe when ready. Oh my god, Raider, Tusken Raider. It's not Tusken rabies. See, that wasn't so hard, was it? Until next time. This is a bloody soap opera. Oh,